something, close your eyes for a second and imagine. You want success, right? You want money, a better job, respect, freedom. Maybe you want to speak English fluently. Maybe you want people to listen when you talk. Maybe you just want to feel proud when you look in the mirror. We all want these things, but here is the truth nobody wants to hear. Success does not come to you because you want it. Money does not appear because you need it. Respect does not show up because you wish for it. These things come to people who match them, to people who become the version of themselves that naturally attracts these things. And that is the problem. Most people are trying to get success while staying exactly who they are. They want their life to change, but they do not want to change. It does not work that way. Today, I am going to show you something powerful, something simple but life-changing. I am going to show you what happens when you stop trying to get things and start becoming the person who deserves them. Imagine two people. Let's call them Alex and Jordan. Alex wakes up every morning and thinks, I want to be successful, I want money, I want a better life. Alex goes to work, does the minimum, comes home tired, watches TV, scrolls on the phone, goes to sleep. Every day the same. Alex looks at successful people and thinks, they are lucky, they have connections, I do not have those opportunities. Jordan wakes up and thinks differently. Jordan thinks, what would the successful version of me do today? Jordan gets up 30 minutes earlier. Not because it is easy, but because the successful version would not waste morning time. Jordan exercises for 15 minutes. Not because Jordan loves exercise, but because successful people take care of their body. Jordan goes to work and does not just do the minimum. Jordan looks for one small way to add value, one conversation, one extra effort, one moment of going beyond what is required. After work, Jordan does not collapse. Jordan spends 20 minutes learning something new, maybe English, maybe a skill for work, something that builds the future. Before bed, Jordan writes 3 things that went well today. Not because everything was perfect, but because successful people notice progress, not just problems. Now here is the key question. After 1 month, who do you think is closer to success? Alex or Jordan? You know the answer, but here is what most people miss. Jordan did not wait to become successful before acting like a successful person. Jordan acted like a successful person first, and success started appearing naturally. This is the secret. You do not get success and then change. You change and then success finds you. Right now, you might be thinking, that sounds nice, but it is not realistic. I am tired. I have problems. My situation is different. I understand. Life is hard. You have real struggles, real responsibilities, real limitations. But let me ask you something honest. How much of your tiredness comes from actual hard work, and how much comes from carrying the weight of who you are not becoming? Think about it. When you waste time, you feel guilty. When you avoid difficult things, you feel heavy. When you go to bed knowing you did not try your best, you feel disappointed in yourself. That weight is exhausting, more exhausting than actually doing the work. The tired you feel at the end of a wasted day is different from the tired you feel at the end of a productive day. One makes you feel empty. The other makes you feel proud. Here is another truth. You already know what your best version would do. You do not need a coach. You do not need a special plan. You do not need perfect conditions. Deep inside, you already know you are just not doing it. Why? Because there is a gap between who you are now and who you want to become, and that gap feels scary. It feels too big. So you wait for motivation, you wait for the right moment, you wait for everything to be perfect. But waiting is the problem, because the gap does not close by waiting. It closes by moving. So here is what I want you to do, just for one day. Tomorrow, when you wake up, ask yourself this question: what would the best version of me do today? Not the perfect version, not the superhero version, just the best version you can imagine right now. Then do it, for one full day. Wake up when you plan to wake up, not when you feel like it. When you planned, eat food that gives you energy, not food that makes you feel heavy and guilty. When you study English, do not just listen passively. Repeat sentences out loud. Write down 3 new words. Use them in your own sentences. At work, do one thing beyond what is required. One small thing. Send a helpful message. Solve a small problem. Show up with focus, not just with your body. When you feel like scrolling on your phone, stop. Ask yourself, is this what my best version would do right now? If the answer is no, do something different. At the end of the day, before you sleep, write down 3 things you did well. Not 3 things that happened to you. 3 things you chose to do, just one day. Can you do this for one day? Here is what will happen. At the end of that day, you will feel something you have not felt in a long time. You will feel like yourself, the real you, the you that you have been hiding under excuses and fear and wasted time. And that feeling will teach you something powerful. It will teach you that becoming your best self is not impossible. It is not far away. It is just a series of small choices that you make every single day. Most people think success is about getting things: a job, money, a house, recognition. But those are just results. They are not success itself. Real success is becoming someone who naturally attracts those results. Someone who thinks differently, someone who acts differently, someone who shows up differently. Success does not come to people who want it. Success comes to people who match it. Let me say it again because this is important. You do not attract what you want. You attract who you are. If you are disorganized, you will attract chaos. If you are inconsistent, you will attract unstable results. If you give minimum effort, you will get minimum rewards. But if you become organized, even in small ways, opportunities start appearing. If you become consistent, even with tiny habits, progress becomes visible. If you give a little more than required, people notice. This is not magic. This is how reality works. And here is the beautiful part: you do not need to change everything at once. You just need to close the gap a little bit every day. Today, the gap between who you are and who you want to be might be big. But if tomorrow you are 1% better, the gap gets smaller. If you do that for 30 days, you are 30% closer. If you do it for a year, you are a completely different person. The question is not, can I become my best self? The question is, am I willing to act like my best self today? We talked about Alex and Jordan, about the gap between who you are and who you want to be, about the one-day experiment. Now you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to your normal day. Wanting success but not changing, wishing for a better life but doing the same things, that is your choice. I will not judge you. Or you can do something different. You can decide that tomorrow will be your one day. The day you act like your best version from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. Not perfect, just better. Just a little more aligned with who you want to become. And here is what I promise you. If you do this for one day, you will feel something change. Not outside, inside. You will remember what it feels like to be proud of yourself. To go to bed knowing you tried. To wake up the next day and think, I can do this again. That is how transformation starts. Not with big dramatic changes, with one honest day. Success is not about getting lucky. It is about becoming the person who creates their own luck through small daily choices. Money is not about wishing. It is about becoming someone who adds value that people want to pay for. Respect is not about demanding. It is about becoming someone others naturally admire. And becoming your best self, it is not about waiting for the right moment. It is about choosing to be that person today. Right now, your best version is waiting. Waiting for you to stop talking and start moving. Waiting for you to close the gap. Waiting for you to act like the person you keep saying you want to be. How long will you make them wait? Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring enough about your life to spend this time learning and growing. You are capable of so much more than you are showing right now, and deep down, you